Hello, family. It's Christian here. What if I told you that one of the world's leading technology countries, Taiwan, didn't start with industries, or it started with farmers? Their strategy was one of the best I have seen throughout history. It used agriculture not just to feed its people, but to fund its factories' global competitiveness. In just a few decades, they went from food insecurity to exporting semiconductors, and the strategy is crystal clear. Use agriculture to spark industry, empower farmers, build local demand, reinvest strategically. Now, let me show you how. In the late 1940s, Taiwan was poor, rural, and deeply unequal. But their leaders understood something powerful. You can't build industry without first building customers. And the biggest untapped customer base, the rural farmers. Step 1, land reform. Ownership unlocks productivity. Through the land to the tiller program, tenant farmers were given ownership. Overnight, they became motivated producers and consumers with increased incomes and a stake in the economy. When you own your dream, you work harder. Okay, step 2, invest in agricultural infrastructure. The government built irrigation systems, roads, storage, and training programs. Yields surged. So did food security. And now farmers had cash to spend on tools, fertilizers, and even local goods. Step 3, create rural industries. Instead of exporting raw crops, Taiwan encouraged local agro-processing, like rice mills, sugar refineries, and fertilizer factories. These small factories sold to farmers, bought from farmers, and became the nucleus of industrialization. Now, the step 4 is you reinvest into a broader industry. Now, with growing tax revenues and farmer savings, Taiwanese reinvested in light manufacturing, starting with textiles, then electronics. Because a local market already existed, industry could scale sustainably before aiming globally. So, family, that is how Taiwan rose from fields to now the leading country in semiconductors, to the extent that China and the United States have to compete over favors from Taiwan. That's the power of leverage. But now we can do the same. Let's dive into part 2, where I give you Africa's roadmap, where we can apply this same strategy in order to have leverage. Now, phase number 1. Africa has 60% of world arable land. It is uncultivated. In phase 1, local governments, the African Union, they're going to say a land reform treaty, which is going to say this: give farmers ownership or long-term leases to land. When you travel around, you see so much land that is not being used, whether it's government land or it's one family or for some landlord. But if you would give it to some woman that is in need, she will pour in her heart and soul, and she's going to bring in products to the local markets. Step 2, access to credit and inputs, affordable finance, seeds and tools. Step 3, training and infrastructure. Africa still has 40% of post-harvest loss. That's because of poor training and the right infrastructure. So we must modernize farming and connect to the right markets. We must modernize farming. Each country should have a target amount of GDP that they must invest into agriculture, because they should see it as a spark to their industry. They should see it as a roadmap for them to regain their sovereignty, their power, and their dignity. This isn't charity, it's strategic. Empower farmers. Farmers earn more, buy more, become reliable customers and early stage customers of industry. Once we have achieved that, we move on to phase 2, build agro-processing ecosystems. What do I mean by that? This is how you do it. First, you invest in rural mills, packaging centers, cold storage and feed mills. You encourage youth-run agribusinesses through incentives, real incentives. You use cooperatives to reorganize supply and demand. Just like Taiwan, these industries began small, but circulate value locally and create jobs real fast. Now, phase 3, grow domestic markets. Government contracts for schools, hospitals, the military, prioritize local-made products. Prioritize local-made products. Buy African. Consume African. Must leverage the African Continental Free Trade Area to make cross-border trade and payment absolutely easy. We wouldn't need to import cereal from Ukraine when we can import it from Tunisia or Sudan. And the next step, encourage supermarkets, restaurants, and manufacturers to source locally. This grows demand and reduces our dependence on imports. Africa spends $55 billion every year to import food. Imagine that money going into the pockets of local farmers. Imagine the surge in worth and well-being that Africans will have. Imagine in turn the amount of spending that these farmers will spend to other locally made products. Slowly creating space for competitive industries to rise. Number 4, diversify with purpose. Now, you use profits and taxes to support light manufacturing, textiles, packaging, machinery. Next, you begin exports only after local supply chains mature. You know, in the world of business, it's never good to trade with someone when you're in a position of weakness. And finally, you build public-private export platform. Taiwan had such a platform, wherein the private sector and the public will work together to see how they can attract the most value from their exports. This is how we make Africa investable from the ground up. Taiwan didn't wait for the world to come to them. They started with what they had and built a ladder, field by field, factory by factory, customer by customer. Africa can do the same. One empowered farmer, one smart factory, one daring leader at a time. If this vision inspires you, share it. Let's make agriculture the engine of Africa's rise. Drop a comment. Let's join the movement. The future is Africa. Let's shape it.